The Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Micromaster Swindler is a nice update to the only ever released version of that character, which was in G1 in the years 1988 and 1990. However, some of the flaws due to this figure's size severely handicap this figure overall. I will tell you more about this in the upcoming review. The question of, are Micromasters good figures? That is a good question to have when it comes to figures, especially like Swindle. Although this is a nice update to the G1 figure that I mentioned a little bit ago, this figure's engineering is very problematic, especially when it comes to tabbing pieces together when you're converting this figure into alt mode, and then once again when you're trying to get it back into its primary mode. Other than that, the coloring is very nice. The articulation for a figure that's only a little over 2.5 inches, if I remember correctly, the articulation for such a figure, it's actually pretty impressive. I'm going to talk about this and a whole bunch more after these Transformer commercials.
In the world of micros, the only micros that transform are the amazing Micromaster Transformers. And now the Micromasters have Micromaster Transports.
Micromaster Transformers!
And here in the palm of Optimus Prime's hand are Micromaster battle stations that connect to form micro cities.
Micromaster Transformers, the most incredible micros of all. They're not just small. Transformers!
Micromaster Transformers, collect them all.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as you know, we're going to be talking about the War for Cybertron Siege Swindler. Now, when it came to this figure, when I bought it back in 2019, if I remember correctly, it's either 2018 or 2019. I can't recall when this figure came out. The Micromasters were actually pretty common. I mean, like they were kind of shelf forming. It doesn't matter what package it was. These figures were always kind of shelf forming. However, over the 5+ years since this figure made its return, I am glad to say that it is actually a little bit more difficult to find these guys. In fact, you can only really find this figure in a package, I should say. You can find this figure in a package unopened on only a couple websites. Wait, wrong one, sorry. The first one being Amazon. Amazon, you can find this figure on the low end for $14.99. That comes with Prime shipping, and you can get like in one day. Or for some reason, if I don't know why, but if you want to spend a little bit more, you can actually get this figure for $19.99 plus $5.99 shipping. The dates are a little bit off because these pictures were actually taken a few days ago. But one thing I do want to say is that this figure is not sold by itself. It actually comes in part of a 2-pack, which is known as the Race Car Patrol. On the other end, if you want to go through eBay, the price difference is pretty similar for this figure. Basically, it's $21.80 on the low end, and then on the high end, it's about $25.25. It looks like it's a little bit small. I can't really tell, but yeah. So it's the price when I got it, the 2-pack, it was originally, I think it was like $9.99. So it's been doubled in price. It's almost tripled, depending on where you go. But yeah, so yeah, that's about it for that. I guess that's about all I can really say about this. I'll be right back with some more information. Before I get on with the unveiling of the figure itself and all that, basically this figure had only one repaint in the Siege line, and since Micromasters were not carried over to the following toy lines, this figure hasn't really had that many repaints. In fact, it only had one repaint. This figure had a repaint as Blackjack, which was part of, I can't recall what it was part of, but it was in, like, I think it was like Wave 5 of War for Cybertron Siege. I may be wrong about that, but it's the same figure. It's literally the same figure, just repainted, basically. With that out of the way, well, let's get to the rest of the stuff, shall we? So let's do this. There we go. Let's see here. So the figure overall, it was originally meant to look like a DeLorean. However, I'm guessing because the figure's name is Swindler, the estate of DeLorean, of John DeLorean, I think that's the guy who made the DeLorean. I think that maybe they changed the image of the toy because they did not want to upset the estate of John DeLorean. So as you can see here, there are, it is a nice figure visually, as long as you're not interacting with it. One issue that this figure has is that it is extensively top heavy. Let's get, okay, as you can see here, his backpack kind of really jets out from the back of him. So if you try to stand this figure straight up, it's not going to work. He's going to fall over all the time. You would not believe how many times I had to redo the turntable videos because of the fact that the figure would constantly fall over. I was getting to the point I'm like, okay, just fuck it. But no, I kept it up, and thankfully I was able to get, a good video of it. Now, when it comes to comparison, it looks drastically different from the G1, as you can see in the top picture here. They did a lot more detailing, which the detailing technology back in the 80s was not as advanced as it is now. So I can give them a little bit of, I guess you could say I give it a little bit of a pass when it comes to detailing. The one thing I do not appreciate is how they took off those nice looking little slats. They're a little bit slats on the shins of the G1 figure, made up the back window. I loved those slats, but for some reason, to probably make the vehicle look less like a DeLorean, they decided to give it just plain black windows. Let's see here. Now, when compared to modern day core class figures, you can see that this figure is actually roughly a little bit taller than your core class. I think this is it's Studio Series 86. I think it's Rumble. I get the two confused. Rumble is red, Frenzy is blue, whatever, but anyway, as you can see in this picture here, in the comparison picture, he is actually just a little bit taller than a core class, but that's also because of the fact he has some pretty big shoulder pads. He came in, like I said, in a 2-pack with Roadhandler, which is the red figure. And in the videos below that you can see, Roadhandler is in the top videos. Here he is with Blackjack. As you can see here, Blackjack is basically the same figure, just painted differently. I don't even think it has a different face. I did not take a good look, but I'm pretty sure it's just the same face, just repainted, Here you have the updated Swindler, which is on the left, and the G1 version, which is on the right in their alt modes. Here you have Swindler and Roadhandler, and Swindler with Blackjack. I'll be honest, I think Blackjack carries the colors a little bit better, but then again, that's because it has more colors. Swindler is just your standard gray and black. But yeah, so that was the comparison of Swindler with various other figures. I hope you liked these videos, and when I return after this these commercials from Transformers, I will be doing the converting. So I will be right back.
Now, in the palm of Optimus Prime's hand are the incredible Micromaster battle stations. Micromasters are the only micros that transform.
Micromaster Transformers, the most incredible micros of all.
Micromaster battle stations sold separately.
When it came to converting these figures or transforming, or however you prefer to refer to, these figures, either transforming, converting, whatever, it was actually, the steps itself were easy. It's the issue of tabbing the pieces together. Now, that was the real problem here, ladies and gentlemen. I already did a transformation, converting video, whatever. You can see it in the upper corner here if you would like to click on it. Yeah, but overall, it was, like I said, the steps were easy. It's just, it's a little difficult getting those pieces to tab together. And I think it's just because of the fact that we're dealing with an extremely small figure having a little bit more articulation compared to its Generation 1 mold mate. Another issue I have is that the wheels just do not rotate at all. They do not rotate. You have to literally kind of shove the figure in its alt mode just to get it to move. It's not easily it doesn't easily move like you would expect, like a deluxe class or anything like that. But yeah, overall, if it didn't have the issue of the tabbing, I would be a lot more excited to constantly transform this figure. But because of that, I'm going to, leave it with the rest of the figures like I always do in the primary mode, because it is just not that fun to convert. When I return, it will be my review of this figure. So stay tuned and I'll be right back.
Now, in the world of Micromaster Transformers, the incredible Micromaster Transports. Micromasters, the only micros that transform.
Micromaster Transformers, the most incredible micros of all.
Micromaster Transport, sold separately.
Okay, everybody, we are now at time for my review, and basically, I already pre-recorded my review like I have been doing recently. So I'm going to play that video, and then when the video is over, I will be giving you my positives, the negatives, and the pet peeves. So here we go. When it comes to the War for Cybertron Siege Micromaster Swindler, this is a nice figure. This is a nice figure if you do not interact with it. This is a display piece at best, either in its primary mode or its alt mode. This is actually a nice figure visually. Visually, it's a nice figure. But if you are to interact with this figure, you're going to find that this figure has some flaws, basically. Visually, this figure is a nice update to the G1 figure that shares the same name. Sadly, this is only the second ever figure that was released from Hasbro. The other one being the Generation 1 Micromaster that was released in 1988, if I remember correctly. And then it had a re-release in like 1990, according to TFwiki. But like I said, visually, this is a nice update to that figure. It is very nice to get a lesser known figure. Today's market, we are literally kind of bombarded with endless Optimus Primes, endless Megatrons. That if you have that Siege Megatron, you know what I'm talking about. If you, we get countless Star Screams, we're even starting to get bombarded a little bit with Soundwave figures. So it's nice to get a lesser known figure that we have not really had that much of a pleasure to actually have. I originally had the G1 Swindler, but sadly I did not keep him when I was younger, because when you're younger you get different hobbies and everything. When it comes to coloring, this figure's coloring, it's actually pretty, I want to say it's spot on to the G1 Swindler, but it's still pretty close. So I gotta say that even though the gray is not perfect, I still say that this is actually a pretty good, substitute for gray. Maybe they don't have that color gray anymore. I don't know. Or it could be just that figure, the gray could have lightened up a little bit. But either way, I like both grays. So yeah, I like the coloring of this figure. When it comes to the articulation of this figure. The level of articulation this figure has is kind of astounding to me because of the fact that this is such a small figure. Granted, this has almost the same level of articulation that the G1 has. It had the bendable knees. Can't recall if the legs actually moved. I don't think they did. But you also had movable arms. But this guy has the bendable legs. Like I said, I can't recall if the legs were actually articulated on the G1 Micromaster. But this guy also has a waist swivel. So the amount of articulation that they can actually put into a figure of this size is actually pretty astounding. Memories. This figure brings back memories because when I was younger, hey, I'm going to be honest with everybody. When I was younger and I was in elementary school, I spent my fair amount of time in detention. And I was put in detention a lot. So when you're in detention, you really don't have much to do. That's the point of detention. They would basically put, you're supposed to be learning something. Well, when I literally have the attention span and patience of a child, because I was a child back then, I needed something to keep me entertained. So I had one of these little guys. I actually had the G1 version of this guy. So yeah, I can honestly say that I'm glad I had this guy. And to have this guy again brings back memories. Now, this figure actually comes in a 2-pack with Roadhandler. Let me get this. I forgot I only had this guy partially transformed. Roadhandler, it's a little 2-pack known as the Race Car Patrol, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so basically you get these two little guys. The arms of this figure are actually secured to the body. I never tried to remove them, but the G1, I think it was just, I think the arms were attached to the body via like a simple friction hinge or friction pin or whatever you want to call it. The only reason I remember that is after a few days of owning the G1 version of this, his arms came off and I lost those guys. I do not know where they went. But yeah, so I'm glad that the arms on this guy are actually more secure to the body. I remember taking my G1 Swindler to elementary school with me, and he wouldn't have his arms, so basically you just have the torso and the legs, and even though he was missing like 25% of his body, I was still I still like the figure. It's just a shame that I lost the arms. However, even though there are a lot of things I like about this figure, there are some issues I have with this figure. Number one, it's converting this thing. This thing is a fucking mess. Now, if you look at the picture here, the Generation 1, they actually had the hood rotate down in front to form the chest plate of the G1 figure. Whereas this guy, it goes on the back. And I think it's because it's on the back. I think it makes it even worse to convert this guy. So I'm going to do it in front of the camera so you guys can see how difficult it is. Okay, so first you got to rotate the hood down. Okay, so that'll make the hood. Then you got to, one of the big issues is trying to get the pieces to tab in because this is such a small figure. You're dealing with some advanced engineering because they got to do a lot to cram all the engineering into such a small figure. And one of the major problems is getting the arms to tab into the body itself. Okay, so, and that's the problem, especially when it comes to the left arm. It just does not want to easily tab in. One part wants to tab in, the other does not. Okay, and considering that this is so small, it should not be that hard to tab the pieces together, but it is. Then we just got to kind of rotate the legs, and boom. We have him in alt mode. Now, this was a little bit quicker. Normally, if I'm just taking my time, It takes a while because, like I said, there's tabs that up towards the top of the shoulder pads. There are tabs that tab into the hood. They do not want to easily tab in. It's literally a fight to get those things to tab in. One of the major issues I have with this figure in alt mode, the wheels do not turn. They do not turn. That you can move them, but if I don't have my other camera set up right now, but if you were to roll it, it will not roll. Oops. Still got it. It will not roll. You literally have to kind of shove it to make it move. And at that point, it has that look like it's not moving freely of its own, like on the wheels. It literally looks like you're shoving the motherfucker, So, but yeah, so I really wish that they took time to re-engineer the wheels, because the wheels look like they're just kind of they're inserted or attached to the body via, I'm not sure what it's called. It's like a pin. I don't want to say a pin, maybe a clip, but I'm pretty sure if it was like a metal pin, the wheels would have had no problems turning. But like, see this wheel back here, the back right wheel, it is so stiff. It is so stiff, and like it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad that it's like that, because I would love to have this in its alt mode and just being able to roll it across my table to show you. But literally, you would watch me literally just have to go to make it to move. It's not nice. It's not a nice visual, I guess you could say. I'm not sure why, but for some reason, the people who decided to design this incarnation of Swindler, or for the Micromasters in general, they decided to add a third. I'm not sure if you want to consider it like a third mode, but it's a combination mode. And here, I'm just going to let you guys see it. This is taken directly from the internet. Somebody who has developed, the person who is developing these figures, there must have been a lot of lonely nights in the Hasbro office. But yeah, it's just that the whole concept of if the combination, let's see here, let's get this. I'm looking at the pictures to see how they do it, how it's done. If the joints were a little bit stiffer, I guess you could say. Let's see here. If the joints were a little bit stiffer, I would say that it would be suitable. But I just don't really see this as a weapon, because they wanted to make these guys look like a weapon. Let's do this. Let's do that. But then the question is, where does the fucking... Oh, okay, wait. Hold on, I'm here. Let's actually... There you go. So you can see what I'm looking at, because I'm trying to get the alignment here of figures. It's just... It doesn't look right. I'm sorry to say, it just doesn't. It just does not. And I'm trying... See, it doesn't even look like it makes sense. Okay, so I have... This has to be a joke. Seriously, because the handle for the gun, for this gun combination mode, or whatever you want to call it, it's supposed to be the grip that is part of Swindler's hood. But as you can see here, maybe is it like... Oh no, it's like this. Okay, it's like this. I'm sorry, guys. I am so sorry. There it goes. There it goes. But this is what it looks like. And if the joints were a little bit stiffer and it just looked better, I could give it a pass. But even like they kind of have the legs being straight. Here, they kind of have the legs being straight, but if they have it straight, it just doesn't look right. So you got to kind of arch the legs a little bit. It just doesn't look right. So I have my friend Blaster over here. Here you go. I'm gonna have him hold the figure, and you can see just how weird this thing looks. That's if I can get the goddamn. That's another issue, is that the grip wants to constantly cave in. It does. It's not enough. Okay, there it goes. It's not enough friction there. And as you can see, does this look good? No, it does not. This combination mode did not need to be. Did not need to be. This is. God, Hasbro, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? This combination mode honestly did not need to exist. But yeah, on a good day, if you're careful, the grip will hold. But then on a bad day, if you're moving him around, it does not want to. It's not firm enough. It's not firm. Does this look good? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's all I'm going to say about this. The combined mode did not need to exist. So we went through some of the positives and we went through some of the negatives. Finally, we have some of the pet peeves. And sadly, even though I said that it's a positive that Swindler came in a 2-pack with Roadhandler, I also have to say it's a little bit of a pet peeve. Now you're wondering to yourself, Jeff, how is it a pet peeve if you say that this guy came in a 2-pack and that's a good thing? And the answer is quite simple, because of the fact that this figure is actually part of originally of a 4-pack known as the Race Car Patrol. You had Roadhandler, you had Freewheeler. You had Tailspin, and you had Swindler. I had the name was freezing for some reason. You had Swindler. So basically, yeah, like I said, the fact that he could have come in a 4-pack would have been totally awesome. Sadly, ultimately, there is feels like a little bit of wasted potential here. I'm not sure how to really explain it, but I just feel like this figure, along with the rest of the Micromasters, could have actually had a lot more potential than what we actually got. But yeah, so wasted potential. Finally, we have the last pet peeve and the final part of this review. And basically, it's something as aesthetic for me. I think that's the right word, aesthetics. And the issue is, let me get back into alt mode if I can without, in a timely manner, because once again, it is putting up a fight. There it goes. There's that. There's this. The one thing that I wish that this figure had was the little slats on the back window, on the rear windshield, or rear window, whatever you want to call it. Here, let's actually go to, is it this one? Okay, now you can't really see it in this picture, but if you look at the shins of the G1 Swindler, you can see that there are little slats, or whatever you want to call them. Those make up the back window of the alt mode. Sadly, we do not have that with this guy. If they had those slats, I think it would have gone up into the positive. But they didn't. So even though it does not affect the figure at all, I still have to say that it is a pet peeve. But yeah, so that is basically my thoughts, my little quick review of the War for Cybertron Siege Swindler. Back on with the main video. Okay, everybody. So with the review mainly out of the way now, it's time for the positives, the negatives, and the pet peeves. Now, I don't know why I'm kind of stuttering right now. I have everything up here I want to say, but it just doesn't always come out, But anyway, I'd like to start with the positives, then I'm going to go to the negatives, and then we're going to close it off with the pet peeves. So let's start with the positives. Visually, it's a nice update to a G1 release. Do not get me wrong. Visually, it's nice. It's just everything else that, with the exception of the articulation. I like the articulation, but almost everything else hampers or yeah, hampers this figure basically. It's nice to get a lesser known figure. How many times have we received a repaint of the War for Cybertron Siege or War for Cybertron Earthrise Megatron? I like a good repaint, but even I'm like, okay, that's enough, guys. That's enough. Like, can we get something different? So it's nice to get some lesser known figures. The coloring, even though it's even though it's basic, I like the coloring. The level of articulation for a figure of this size is astounding. You anything that could be possibly articulated is articulated. The only exception is that there are no elbow joints. It's all shoulder, and there's no heels. But then again, this guy doesn't have any heels, because if he had heels, he would not fall over as easily as he does. And there's also no head articulation that I am aware of. See, that's another thing. With my fat fingers, I can't easily access the head. So let me see. Does the head turn? Nope, it doesn't look like it. If it does, it may just be really stiff on mine. But you get arm articulation, you get waist articulation, and then you get knee articulation. Now you got to remember, comparing this to the G1 release, which was over 20 plus years ago, almost 30. That tells you how far this guy has come in that amount of time. Brings back memories. Oh my god. How many times I use my G1 Micromasters to help pass the time in detention when I was in elementary school. If it was not for my G1 Micromasters back then, I would have gone insane having to sit in an alcove in detention for as long as I did. This figure comes in a 2-pack. It comes with Roadhandler. Now, even though I put that as a positive, you'll see what I mean when I talk about, later on. But it does come in a 2-pack, so at least you get 2 figures. And the arms are secured to the body. When I had G1, the arms fell off. I lost them. And after that, I just had a torso with legs. But yeah, so those were the positives. When it comes to the negatives, let's see here. Hold on, let me fix my audio. It keeps pegging sometimes. Okay. Negatives. It's difficult to tab the limbs. It is very difficult to tab the limbs. You can get it into, you can get everything into place for its alt mode. But it's the tabbing issue, especially when it comes to the shoulders tabbing to the hood portion. Come on. I think it's just due to the amount of complex articulation that this figure has for its size. There, I got it basically, as you can see, I basically have it in. But then, as I'm not sure if you can really see, but the shoulders are difficult to tab in. Sometimes it is a battle to get, because it doesn't want to easily tab in. The shoulders constantly want to kind of shift downwards. God, now it's not even tabbing. I think this is an issue with, like I said, with the complex. Well, now even though the arms do not come off the body, the legs will come off the body. As you can see here, it literally just came off. So let's get this thing reattached. And then we will resume trying to finish tabbing this portion. There it goes. Okay, so I got that done. Like I said, I think it's just due to the amount of engineering that this figure has. Okay, there it goes. There. Holy shit. It should not be that hard to tab everything together, but it is. But I think it's because of the size. Wheels do not turn, thus it impacts the rolling. You have to literally shove this motherfucker before it'll roll at all, and it doesn't even really roll. It just kind of drags across the surface. And then you have the lazy combine mode. I personally do not think that these things needed to become, have a combined feature, especially one for Roadhandler and Swindler. Like I said, I joke when I say this, but I honestly think that somebody at Hasbro was pretty lonely when they came up with that combine mode. Okay. Finally, we have the pet peeves. Now, these don't actually impact the figure itself. Wasted potential. They could have done so much more with this figure. They could have repainted this figure a dozen more times to really fill out Micromasters, because let me see if I can. I'm on. Let's see here. Can I pull up a? Let's see here. What happens if? Let's see here. Hold on 1 second. Let's see here. Let's do this. Yeah, okay, there we go. I'm gonna move it over to here because I know you can't really see it. Hold on, let me. There. We only had a total of 5 waves, which was a total of 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 packages. They really wanted to. Hold on. They really wanted to make, to really do stuff with these figures. They could have really, just gone balls to the wall with the repaints. I think repainting a Micromaster, I think it's a little bit more acceptable because of the fact that they're so small. You're not really going to notice all the little minute details, And let's see here, what else is there? G1, it actually had the Swindler came in a 4-pack with Freewheeler, Spin Out, I think that's his name, and then along with Roadhandler. For some reason, they only released this guy in a 2-pack with Roadhandler. They released, let's see here. Let's see if I can pull it up. Hold on, let's go back over here. There we go. They released Autobots versus Decepticons Micromaster 10-pack. Here, and it had Road Police, Wheel Blaze, Ground Shaker, Over Air, Recon, Iron Shred, Night Flight, Sly Hopper, Crate Maker, and Fireline. However, for some reason, they did not include the rest of, the 4-pack. I figured that it would have been a good idea to have Spin Out and Freewheeler, but apparently they did not, And then, honestly, there's no slats on the back window like in the G1 release of this figure. I can understand that. I think that was all due to the fact that maybe they did not want to upset the estate of John DeLorean because of the fact that it's rumored that Swindler was a dig at John DeLorean because everybody viewed the DeLorean to be a little bit of a scam when it came out. But yeah, so those were my positives, the negatives, and the pet peeves. When I come back, I will be giving you my final thoughts, including should you buy this 2-pack if you are interested in reliving your past. So I will be right back with the results.
Optimus, we've captured 2 of the Decepticons' vehicles!
Look out! They're transforming into bases!
Decepticon Micromasters have
Micromasters, micro bases become the most incredible places.
Now the Autobots and Decepticons have Micromaster bases, and you can connect them to form whole cities.
Micromaster Transformers, the most incredible micros of all. They're not just small. Transformers. Micromaster Transformers.
Micromaster bases, collect them all.
It is now time for my final thoughts, and basically I'm going to give you just a little bit of a breakdown, and I'm going to give you my answer. Should you buy this? Should you buy this figure if you are into Micromasters? The one thing that you need to remember is that this wait, wrong one. It's that, hold on. There you go, sorry. The one thing that you need to remember is that this figure is actually still available on Amazon and eBay. I'm only going to show the Amazon prices. If you want to see the eBay prices, you can see it in the earlier portion of this review. The price has only gone up by almost 3 times, depending on where you look, or twice, almost a little over twice on Amazon. I originally paid like $9.99 for the 2-pack. Right now, it is currently going for about $14.99 on Amazon with Prime, or $19.99 with $5.99 delivery if you don't have Prime, basically. I'm honestly kind of shocked. Sadly, this 2-pack is no longer available, like on Target or Amazon or like Big Bad Toy Store, and that's kind of accepted because of the fact that these figures are getting a little bit older. They're a little bit up there. They're no longer produced. But if you're still wanting to get new copies of this figure, you can still find it on Amazon and eBay. The other thing you need to remember is that this is the second time that they've ever done a Swindler figure. The only other time that they ever did a Micromaster Swindler figure was in G1. So you're still, if you buy this figure, you're still going to have something kind of special. Granted, it's not G1 special, but you're going to be buying a character that has not been reproduced to hell and back, basically. It isn't like you're going to be getting the 39th copy of Optimus Prime, or the 69th copy of Megatron, or the 2000th copy of Starscream. You are going to be getting a figure that has only had its second release, or second mold release, or whatever you want to call it, So with that said, I'm going to ask you a question. Should you buy this figure? Or you're going to ask me, should I buy this figure? And to which I have to say yes, but it comes with a little asterisk. If you are into Micromasters, you will most likely want to get this guy to fill out your collection. If you do not buy Micromasters, or you don't like Micromasters, you're not really going to care for these figures. But yeah, I like this guy. That's why I bought him. I like the idea of different things about of different types of characters in Transformers. I just don't like it when they get overdone to the point it's kind of laughable, like how they've been doing it with the Armorizers recently. But that is it for my final thoughts. Stay tuned, and I'll be right back with my goodbye, basically. Yeah, okay.
Now there are incredible new Micromaster bases that connect to form whole cities.
Micromaster Transformers, the most incredible micros of all. Micromaster Transformers.
Micromaster Autobot rocket base and Decepticon space shuttle.
Okay, everybody, it is time. It is the end of this review. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has taken the time out of your day or evening to watch this video. It means a lot to me. I tried a couple little different things when it came to doing this review. I normally have these reviews labeled unboxing and review, but since I've already long opened this figure up, I can't really say it's an unboxing because I don't even have the boxes to take pictures of. So basically, it's just a review. It's just a review. I'm going to do that with a lot of my open figures that I've had forever. I'm going to have unboxing and reviews but those will deal with figures I basically bought since I've been doing this series. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has watched this video. I hope that I have been able to at least give you a little bit of information when it comes to this little guy. I mean, if you want to buy it, but buy the 2-pack, hey, awesome. If I made you curious about the 4-pack from G1, awesome. Either way, I just want to get the word out about these Micromasters. They're fun. I just don't think that they should have a combined mode. But anyway, I'm going to bounce out of here. Haha, big guy making a bounce comment. Yes, I am big. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get this processed and uploaded. And I will see you all next time. If you like what you watch, all I ask is that you click on that subscribe button. Maybe click on the like if you like it. Or you can always leave a comment. I like to hear what people have to say. Do you have this? Do you have the Siege Micromaster Swindler? Or do you have the G1? Do you like Micromasters? Or do you hate them? Let me know what you think. Until next time, my name is Jeff, aka GCurse. Wishing you all a great day. Stay safe, everybody. Peace out.